Hey everybody, Trump's presidency ends in 10 days, and whether he tries to stay for the remaining 10 days or he resigns, or if he faces the 25th Amendment or a second impeachment, one thing is for sure. He has stated very clearly that this is only the beginning of the journey, not the end, meaning that politically, he isn't going away once his presidency is over. On the contrary, in my opinion, Trump and his family intend to be significant actors on the stage of American politics. With Trump's recent ban from Twitter, he will need to find a way to connect directly with his followers. And he is teased at either acquiring or starting his own media company. For now, many of his supporters have moved to Parler, a right-wing media company, but it now seems that Parler itself might be banned from the servers it is hosted on. Trump will potentially also have to deal with any number of lawsuits once his presidency is over. He might grant himself a pardon, but that gives him immunity on a federal level, not on a state level. And on top of that, the recent MAGA riots at the US Capitol building, they've basically alienated him from a significant number of his institutional supporters within the Republican Party itself. And although Trump has stated that he will run again for president in 2024, many are now advising him not to do so. At the recent Washington, D.C. Save America MAGA rally, Donald Trump's sons, Don Jr. and Eric, they also made it clear that the Trump political dynasty isn't ending, echoing their father's words that this is just the beginning. Don Jr. was particularly vocal and direct, stating that the Republican Party and the Congress members, the representatives and the senators, that they hadn't done enough to support Trump Sr., and that the party no longer belonged to them, but to the Trumps. He further went on to say that members of Congress that didn't show support for his father's bid to overthrow the Electoral College vote on January the 6th, that they were in jeopardy of losing their seats in Congress. Eric, he chimed in with some words of his own, reinforcing the message that Trumpism isn't, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to get stronger. Meanwhile, Eric's wife, Laura, has said that it would be a great honor to run for Senate in her home state of North Carolina, something that could actually happen in 2 years, when Senator Richard Burr's seat is up for voting. And he's made it very clear that he's not going to be standing for election again. Now, going back to Eric, my personal opinion is this guy, he's very prone to making gaffes and mistakes. I don't think he's as charismatic as some of the other members of the Trump family. And so he's not going to be considered by many as likely to contend for a seat in Congress. And he'll probably end up playing a supporting role to Lara, or Lara, however you wish to pronounce that. Ivanka, Trump's daughter, is said to be eyeing a Senate run in 2022 also. Now, she's played a very prominent role as a senior advisor throughout the whole 4 years of her father's administration. And she's also been very, very, very visible campaigning for her father, Trump Sr., both in supporting him at rallies that Trump is at, and also incredibly successfully campaigning for him at solo events. One of Florida's Senate seats comes up for vote again in 2020, and though it is held by Marco Rubio, who happens to be a very staunch Trump loyalist, Trump did beat Rubio by 16 points in the Republican presidential primaries in Florida in 2016. So it is very much Trump country. Ivanka could expect strong support in Florida if she ends up challenging Rubio and becoming a Florida resident with her recent $30 million property acquisition and purchase. she would now satisfy the election eligibility requirements of calling Florida her home state. Her husband, Jared Kushner, he's considered to be, again, in my opinion, politically savvy, probably one of the smartest on the Trump team. And although serving as Trump's chief advisor, and now he's a registered Republican, he's many, many years of being a registered Democrat and a prominent donor to the Democrat Party, as well as having a reputation for making himself scarce when things get tough for his father-in-law, Trump Sr. These actions have many Trump loyalists suspicious of his dedication to Trumpism, while they actually forget that Trump himself was a registered Democrat donor for a while. Anyway, he will in all likelihood serve as a senior advisor to Ivanka in the event that she runs for Senate in Florida. And this leaves us with Donald Trump Jr. Don Jr. has toyed with the idea of running for public office a number of times. Back in May of 2020, Don Jr., he considered running as mayor of New York. His father kind of seemed to nix that idea, and I actually agree with Donald Trump Sr. on this one. Kind of basically stating that a Republican doesn't have a chance of winning that particular election race. And with his father losing favor with many establishment Republicans after the assault earlier, last week on Capitol Hill, Don Jr. might actually, he might well be considered to be in the running to secure the Republican presidential nomination in 2024. The demise of Trump's presidency, heralds in a new level of Trumpism. And, we're going to see where that takes us and see what transpires as a result of it. A Trump political dynasty? More violence from his supporters? Or dare we even say, and I would hate to see it, a civil war? And I don't say that lightly. As a matter of fact, that's going to be the topic of tomorrow's video. Take care, everybody. I hope you enjoy the independent and non-partisan perspectives that I strive to present here at Plagued Politics. And if you do, please help support the channel through my Patreon page. To access it, click on the Plagued Politics logo under the video here. Doing so will take you to my YouTube homepage. From there, you can click on the link to my Patreon support page, and there are some neat rewards if you choose to support me. Doing so will help me improve the quality of my content. The equipment, you can probably tell I'm in need of a microphone, professional one, as well as the software, and to be able to dedicate the considerable amount of time and other resources that are needed to create these videos. And please, leave a comment or a criticism down below. It is my genuine goal to try and respond to each and every one of them when possible. Thank you so much for watching and also for supporting.